welcome to this edition of the Credit Union Connection. My very special guest with us today is NCR Executive Vice President, Don Layden. Welcome.
Hi, Sarah. Good to be here.
Yeah, great to meet you. So give me a little background on yourself, as well as I know most people know NCR from around the banking industry and in credit unions who are community bankers. I know that's a kind of a controversy there. But then, give us your elevator pitch for NCR as well.
Sure. At NCR, we transform, connect, and run financial institutions, retailers, and restaurants. In the banking space, where we are the predominant player in providing ATM technology and digital banking technology for financial institutions. So that includes credit unions, community financial institutions, and larger regional financial institutions. We've been the ship share leader of ATMs for the past 10 years, and we don't see that changing anytime soon.
Well, how about yourself? You skipped right over yourself.
Sure. I'd much rather talk
you.
about NCR than about me. You know, the interesting thing, Sarah, is that I've been in financial technology before we described it as financial technology. So I've been in the industry for a long time. I worked with the major financial technology providers, Fiserv and FIS. During my career, I've run small payment operations, ran a public company in Philadelphia called Cantaloupe before I joined NCR. And the NCR management team, as you may know, we've all worked together in other settings, and we came together to work on this great iconic brand and to make it better. And I think over the course of the last 5 years that the management team has been in place, we've been able to accomplish that. And you may know there's some exciting announcements going on here at NCR. We are separating the company into two. So our historic connection to commerce, where 138 years ago we started making cash registers. We haven't made a cash register in a long time now, but we're going to separate the banking ATM business into a separate standalone public company. It'll be the largest company on the globe dedicated exclusively to ATM and ATM technology. It'll be over a $4 billion company with about close to 20,000 employees and a tremendous global reach to help our customers achieve their objectives.
Yeah, that's even bigger than the Mega Millions last week.
There we go. Yeah. I didn't win. Did you?
I did not win. That's why I'm here. No offense. So so that's really interesting because a lot of people, of course, associate NCR with the ATMs, and it's now a tried and true technology. You know, it's been around since as long as I can remember. And back in the day, people thought that was going to be the end of branches, right? And so now we've got digital banking and fintechs and neobanks, and people are calling it the end of branches yet again. I just want to get your broad thoughts on that.
Branches aren't going to go away. The most convenient, cost accessible way for consumers to access their accounts, the way they view that as being the safest, is to be able to go to a physical location. Even the neobanks, we work with a lot of neobanks, and one of the things that they talk to me about all the time is how do I bridge the digital to physical divide? How do I make sure that I provide physical access to my customers? And the notion that branches are going away or that ATMs is going away, that's really a large bank metro area phenomenon. So among the 10 largest banks, they've reduced the number of ATMs they've deployed over the last 5 years by about 3 or 4%. But you know what credit unions and community financial institutions have done? They've grown their ATM estate by more than 20% during that same period, because they recognize that their customers want that convenient, quick access, and they're looking to provide more and more things that can happen at an ATM. And that's where we've spent a lot of our technology dollars, a lot of our innovation around doing those kinds of things. So we're the leader in interactive teller machines, ITMs. The frustrating thing is that many consumers don't know what an ITM is. They
Yes.
don't know how to access it. They don't know what it's about. And what it does for a financial institution is a couple of things. One, it allows that financial institution to be much more effective. They can extend their hours. They can have the best tellers sitting in the available for the ITM interaction. They don't have to have that teller be at a physical location, which is the same location as the consumer, but they're able to service multiple ATMs, multiple ITMs from a single location. And so the community financial institutions and credit unions that I talk to love the ITM technology because it makes for a better experience for their customers. One of our community financial institutions did something that was interesting. They're in Milwaukee. The Milwaukee Bucks, NBA basketball team, kind of exciting. You know, they won the championship. They got back in the playoffs. So one weekend, they had one of the Bucks as the guest teller. So when someone
Nice.
went to an ITM, there was one of the Bucks players answering their inquiries. Now that Buck player did have a real teller sitting next to him to be able to help him to do that. But it was an interesting way to show how that technology can really get people excited in the community and deliver real service and therefore be able to deliver transaction types that an ATM may not be able to do. So higher dollar value transactions, opening a loan or opening an account can all be done on an ITM. It's really pretty neat.
Yeah, no, and you alluded to this already. You all did this study with Forrester
Mm-hmm.
and found that 56% of consumers don't know what an ITM is. So the majority, and also only 40% have used one. So, well, I think the benefits, and we can go into those in a bit, to the financial institutions are obvious. Are ITMs catching on with consumers?
They are. What a number of financial institutions are finding is that they have to do a little bit more marketing, so that the consumer does know that they when they extend hours at an ITM, there still is going to be a teller there, so they can engage in more transactions, making it more convenient. So a number of credit unions are trying to do statement stuffers, online ad campaigns, in order to be able to spread the word about the importance of this technology. Well, you know, going hand in hand with ITM technology is also some of the things that we can do outside of the ATM itself directly, which is to create a shared utility for consumers to be able to use more machines that are connected to a network. So through our Allpoint network, credit unions are able to provide a network of 55,000 machines globally, and those machines are in safe, secure, well-lit locations. And so it's as convenient as going to Walgreens because we have an ATM in every Walgreens. We have an ATM in CVS, and so places that people are already going to shop, they're able also to engage in their banking transactions, and that sort of shared utility where credit unions can expand the scope of their physical footprint through the network effect of our Allpoint network has been hugely valuable to a number of institutions.
Yeah, I can see where that would happen. And um, kind of related to that too, obviously COVID changed the way everybody was doing banking, right? Nobody was going into the branches for a while. And there are some who are not going back. And so there is a decrease, in foot traffic to these branches, although, as you mentioned, kind of the community financial institutions are tending to hold on to those branches, but they're reimagining them, right? And so how has COVID affected that or sped up even the evolution of the branch, do you think?
Well, I don't, branches are not going to go away. Consumers still want to be able to talk to somebody about important financial decisions. And as and when you what you see in the reimagining of the branch is that the branches are much more friendly. Most branches now, they're taking the teller window away. They're providing iPads to their salespeople to be able to go out into the lobby and talk to customers directly about what they're doing. Our technology ties into that so that they can have a remote device that does that, and it does it ubiquitously across every device that they may want to bring to work in order to be able to do that. So that notion of being able to be more advisory, more sales oriented, and offer a broader set of services becomes really important to that credit union experience. And credit unions, in particular, they're members, and so they really want a relationship with the credit union. Those members are looking for that level of intimacy, and the reimagined branch actually fits well into the whole notion of what it means to be a credit union.
Yeah, and as you mentioned earlier, they get to pick and choose the best tellers, right, to be there. Right now, everybody's for 2, 3, 4 years now been talking about the war for talent. And so this allows them to, I imagine helps them decrease the need for finding the right people.
Well, it does actually a couple of things. What our credit union customers tell us is that they are able to pay more money to the people who to work in these areas because they need fewer people to staff that area. So they have more expertise, they're better trained, they're better compensated, and therefore the member experience is dramatically better when you add all of those things in. And there's no doubt there's a war for talent. There's not enough people who to want to engage, and more people want to be able to work at the time and in the location where they want to. And the ITM technology allows that, in its entirety. It allows really good people to work from remote locations and still provide that level of service that the credit unions are looking for.
And I imagine, well, it requires less footprint in the branch as well.
100%. So, as we see new branches being built, they're likely to be a little bit smaller. We're likely to continue to see the trend of off-premises ATMs to be able to, again, extend that footprint, but not have to create an entire branch network, but to have a presence. And if you have an ITM at that off-premises location, it operates just like a branch. In fact, we have one customer who has 2 ITMs in a location. There's no lobby anymore. There used to be. They shut the lobby down. It's one of their highest volume branches because people have become very comfortable with the ITM. They've promoted it quite a bit, and it draws people in.
Yeah, and that's interesting because obviously right now too, credit unions are worried about their liquidity. They're looking for efficiencies. They're not making loans, right? A heck of a lot of loans right now versus a couple of years ago. So what are some of the efficiencies? We talked about a few of them, but kind of wrap up, what are the efficiencies that credit unions can see?
Well, we also have another offering that's become very popular with credit unions, which is that we'll deliver the ATM experience as ATM as a service. So it's a soup to nuts deployment of an ATM at locations that we help the financial institution identify. Could be a branch, could be an off-prem location, and we take care of the entire stack. So we do, particularly when it's an off-prem location, you don't have a teller there to load the cash into the machine, to monitor it, to make sure that it's working, all those kinds of things. So we do all the remote monitoring management. We do all of the cash in transit, all the compliance. So the credit union no longer has to worry about changing requirements for what has to happen at that location. and then we install technology updates automatically onto those machines. So we'll take that entire stack, move that from a capital expense of the financial institution to an operating expense, a predictable, regular monthly operating cost at a level of performance that would be difficult for the credit union to match. Because we're the largest owner and operator of ATMs in the world. We every day we get up and we run 280,000 ATMs on behalf of ourselves and our customers. That number is growing rapidly, and we think ATM as a service is the way that a lot of credit unions and community financial institutions are going to opt to have that service delivered in the future.
Yeah, it makes sense. Though that they can focus on doing what they do best, right? Not
Correct.
filling the ATMs.
Well, and the other thing that we've done is we've also begun to work on expanding the scope of what happens at an ATM. So that it's not just a consumer-driven device, that it also is a device for small businesses, that it can be used to help small businesses manage cash. You know, the financial institutions, larger financial institutions, are fast moving away from small businesses. They're not providing the cash management, cash deposit services they used to provide. Credit unions are walking into that breach and filling it very, very well, and we're able to provide some services to them to help facilitate that through the ATM network. We're also in many instances now, that consumer a credit union member can also make a deposit at an ATM. So it's both a cash out and cash in device, and that provides nice ubiquity for that member. We also have a product called NCR Pay 360 that allows the financial institution to broaden the scope of the relationships they have with their members. So, for example, an Uber driver gets off shift, and you know, and in the ordinary course, they'd have to wait a couple of weeks to get paid for the earnings that they had on that shift. We've created a relationship where that driver can get a code from Uber, go to any ATM, put in the code, and get the cash out for payment for that day. Hugely valuable to those folks. Many of those Uber drivers, it's a second income or it's a sustaining income for their families. It really makes the difference between their ability to be, part of the economic success or not. And we're seeing all kinds of applications. We've got utilities in Florida where consumers can go to an ATM, deposit cash into an ATM, and turn back on their utilities. The combination of convenience and accessibility becomes hugely important for people, particularly people who have historically not had access to financial services. And so it's the product has worked well for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a good time to be in the business of moving money around.
It is.
And so I want to get back a little bit to the credit union branch itself, and how
Sure.
has all this impacted culture and training and things like that within the branch for the staff that may be a little wary?
Yeah, I think that what we find in most instances with the employees of credit unions and community financial institutions we work with is they're excited about the introduction of technology because they see that it's a tool to be able to better do their jobs. We've seen it with the introduction of the ITM that there's a 10 to 20% improvement in efficiency. People feel good about that. If you're a teller or you're a back office worker at a credit union, you want the institution to be successful, and you know how important it is when you're competing with some of the large money center banks that may have more resources than your financial institution does. But the technology could be an equalizer. If you can improve that efficiency 10 to 20%, that may be the difference between being able to grow and not being able to grow. So We think that's we think that's a big piece of the value proposition that's being made to to the credit union employees, and we think that they embrace that. And when they come to training with us, they love it. They love to see how the technology works, and they're excited about being able to deploy it.
Yeah, so great. I appreciate that insight into what the credit union employees, the actual end users, other than the consumers, obviously, are doing with the technology and how they're using it. So, final word, final parting thoughts. What words of wisdom would you have for credit union executives?
Don't stop investing in innovation. Um, you know, it's a challenging world out there. There are lots of there are a lot of obstacles, but there's also lots of ways to put your foot on the gas. And technology and innovation allows you to put your foot on the gas, continue to serve the members well, and we think that investment in technology will continue to serve members and those credit unions well.
As you said, great equalizer for credit unions. Don, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. Yeah, I enjoyed being with you.